Welcome to Veteran Housing Auditor, episode 14. Um, I'm going to go ahead and lay everything out there uh, so you can get the whole picture of what's going on here, really going on here. I'm a third generation honorably discharged veteran, and I'm a veteran of the United States military. I'm currently enrolled in the HUD-VASH voucher program through the Dayton VA Hospital and Dayton Metropolitan Housing Authority in Dayton, Ohio. I've been unlawfully evicted 2 times by the landlords I was referred to by veteran programs, starting at the beginning of the pandemic. My second eviction occurred after the Public Housing Authority did an inspection and the property failed. After the landlord failed to comply during the grace period, the Public Housing Authority, Dayton Metropolitan Housing Authority, abated their portion of the rent pursuant to 24 CFR 983.353. I kept my portion of the rent current, but the landlord filed for eviction for non-payment of rent in violation of that federal regulation and the voucher contract. So I notified the Public Housing Authority and the HUD-VASH supervisors out of the Dayton VA, as well as the Dayton Municipal Court and judge, that this eviction that they put me through was unlawful, and they didn't give a damn. The Dayton Metropolitan Housing Authority and HUD-VASH Department of the VA violated the housing voucher contract and federal regulation by failing to stop both evictions. After having to move my belongings in and out of storage twice, which I paid for, and all the things that had to be abandoned or got damaged in the process, I was financially ruined. I'm currently being unlawfully evicted also. My landlord is a husband and wife team, and she's a former Dayton police detective, and he is a Dayton police detective at his retirement. And I'll be honest with you, they lie so much. I don't know. I can't believe anything that comes out of their mouth. Okay, and I never would have dreamed that. I mean, we had a great relationship up until this bed bug scam incident that they tried to pull on it. They pulled it, almost pulled it off, and so I brought it to everybody's attention. I brought it to the housing authority's attention and the HUD-VASH people and the landlord that it's unlawful to charge veterans $500 for treating their apartments for bed bugs. It's unlawful, and it's right in the HUD, right on the HUD website. Anyways, so I contacted the Dayton Police Department, Department of Internal Affairs, and excuse me, and informed them that I had been having violent confrontations with the detective, with the husband, coming to my door, pounding on my door like a maniac, demanding I come outside and face them, and made me in fear of my life. I mean, this guy's on steroids. He's obviously on steroids. I mean, he's roid raging at my door like a maniac, and the Dayton Police Department did nothing about it. Dayton mediation people come out. I called them when the landlord come out here and was trying to steal my shed, which they came back out after that. Once they saw that nobody was going to do anything about that, they came back out here and confronted me. I was trying to get away from them. I knew they were in the front apartments out there working, so I was trying to get out here, go to the store or something to get away from them. They waited till I was out away from my apartment, confronted me, cornered me out in the parking lot by my shed, telling me to take my lock off of my shed, or they were going to cut it off, you know, and the wife is saying, just cut it off, just cut it off, you know, and uh, telling me that they were going to have me arrested if I called the police on them for stealing my shed. So this is the kind of crazy shit that's gone on, you know, and the housing authority and their supervisors, their supervision has known that these detectives have been improperly doing bed bug treatments. They know about the shed incident and threatening to have me arrested. They know about the violence. They know I've thrown that detective out of my home. I've had to throw him out 3 times. You know, they've known that for almost a year. You know, so they know the detectives have been improperly doing bug treatments 1 unit at a time in a multi-unit complex and charging veterans with public housing contracts $500 for the treatments, which is unlawful. And they didn't even know that until I pointed it out to them. And they've known about the violent threats and threatened to have me arrested if I report them, you know, and just a nonstop campaign of retaliation or harassment for almost 90 days now, 80 days. And these housing agencies have held me on the verge of homelessness and starvation for about 6 years now, with no ending in sight. Legal aid refuses to help. I have no money for a lawyer. I'm financially ruined because of this disaster piece, you know. I can't get the regional director of HUD in Columbus to return calls or emails. And, you know, this never-ending list of slumlords participating in these housing programs and the failure of the people running the programs to do any background searches on the properties or the landlords has put me in one apartment that had 16 undisclosed code enforcement violations at the signing of the lease. One of those code enforcement violations resulted in me, the basement steps collapsing. There were no handrail, loose steps, and I fell and broke my arm. And when I notified the Midwest Acquisition and Property Management LLC scumbags, that I called to tell them the repair order that I put in. I had to put in a repair order when I moved in. You know, this is how I found out the code enforcement existed. I'm like, or the you know, code enforcement violations existed, because I called Bradley Millward, the answered the phone. He's the CEO of the company, and I said, hey, I'm calling about the maintenance request that I put in. I want to let you guys know that the basement steps collapsed and I broke my wrist. And Bradley says, so what are you doing going down in the basement? I'm like, what? I mean, what a crazy, stupid question, you know. So I'm like, I was getting laundry out of my washer and dryer. Well, I still don't understand what you're doing going down in the basement. And I flat told the guy, I said, well, then you're not even smart enough to be in this conversation. Click, and hung up on him, you know, because, I mean, how stupid. And then, I mean, they immediately started in on that campaign of harassment. I mean, they came to my door, 7 deep, 7 big guys. One of them was the armed security guard on Sunday, right the day after I got my arm broke. On Sunday, coming over there to fix all the shit that needed to be fixed before I moved in, right? So anyways, they ended up filing for eviction. They held on to my rent check for a month while they filed for eviction for non-payment of rent, and then they returned my rent check. That's happened twice, you know. That's how the And the court lets them by with it because the court doesn't care. None of these politicians, elected officials, county officials, city officials give a damn about any of this. Because I've made County Commissioner Debbie Lieberman, Judy Dodge, Carolyn Rice, and the county administrator aware of quite a bit of this information. I tried to get a appointment for a sit down with the Dayton mayor. Can't remember his first name, Sims Jr., something like that. And we were, telling her exactly what's going on here. Don't want to have that. Don't want to have that conversation with me. So, anyways, the after I broke my arm and everything and all that stuff started, I went through a campaign of torture and harassment that lasted over a year after I was evicted. I got a email thread hijacker. Hunter Warfield out of Tampa, Florida, was trying to attach an unlawful claim, a $2,600 credit, on my TransUnion Equifax credit, and luckily I have that stuff protected, so when that browser hijacker hit, I was like, I called him, I threatened him, I'm like, you better let loose of my damn email, this is crazy. And when they did, my phone had 16 attempted credit breaches because of Hunter Warfield trying to ruin my credit, and we hadn't even been to court for that part of the eviction yet, so I smashed all of them with that when we finally went for that second part of the eviction, and coincidentally, the same lawyer that was there when I went in there the second time around and handed their asses to him. He's Becky and Rod Roberts, the detectives. He's their attorney. He runs the municipal court, evictions court. He runs the docket. He runs the court. He instructs the magistrates during the hearings and stuff. It's the craziest shit you've ever seen. I mean, he was I would draw in a breath to say something, and he'd objection, and the magistrate would be like, sustained. I mean, I hadn't even said anything, so anyways, it's not going to go that way anymore. I'm going to show them. They already know what Article 1 of the Constitution means for their position. If not, they're about to find out. I'm not the one. If you guys weren't scumbags, I wouldn't know nothing about the law. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you showed me how much I needed to study your job. I know all these people's job better than they do. Period. Anyways, the last landlord referral by the HUD-VASH caseworker, my HUD-VASH caseworker, produced a landlord who has drugged their feet for 5 weeks now, charged me $70 for a TransUnion background check, and then pocketed the money. And here it is. I got to be out of here in 6 days. So on December 11, 2024, I'm going to be homeless and living in my pickup truck because of these worthless social workers and supervisors that don't even know their own job. They have no idea. I've told them for 3 years now about 24 CFR 983.353. To this date, every time I mention that, they're like deer in the headlights. You know, when I showed them what the proper treatment procedures and where I found it on the HUD website. I showed them where I found the law where it's unlawful. These people couldn't find their shoes to tie them themselves. They'd probably have to get their mom to tie their own shoes. It's crazy. I'm not exaggerating one bit. I mean, if you think I am, well, come on over here. I'll show you the evidence. This is crazy, and it has to be fully investigated by someone. It will be sooner or later. It's pretty bad when the government officials and these government employees that work for these housing authority and HUD and the HUD VASH Department of the Dayton Veterans Hospital are such liars and criminals that you have to record every single word that they say. You know, it's just ridiculous. And the position they put me in is criminal. They're criminals. And so far, everyone I reached out to that has the authority to do something about it doesn't really give a damn. So that's going to be a whole different issue.
Welcome to the Dayton. Wait while I transfer your call. Hello, you've reached the voicemail of Brian Valerian, HUD-VASH case manager at the Dayton VA. If you are having a medical or mental health emergency, hang up and dial 911. If you are having thoughts of suicide, please hang up and dial 988. Then press 1 at the prompt to reach the Veterans Crisis Line. That number again is 988, then press 1 for the Veterans Crisis Line. Remember, voicemail is not to be used for urgent communications. If this is not urgent, please leave a brief message and I will return your call when I am able. Thank you. Bye. Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Good morning, Ryan. I'm not going to make it out there to the VA on Thursday. You know, this nonstop slumlord landlord referral stuff that's going on, you know, and this whole situation where I'm about to be living in my vehicle because the latest slumlord just ripped me off, you know, for $70 and everything else, you know. I gotta save every penny. I can't afford to drive out there to the VA. And listen, I want to make you aware of something. This is nothing personal, but I've been through, I don't recall exactly if it was Edith Thompson or Diane Foster Smith, but I caught one of them putting false information into my medical record, trying to get me thrown off the program. So that's why I record every conversation. You know, I've recorded every word you said to me. I've recorded that, Edith Thompson, every conversation, because I know that you guys wouldn't hesitate 1 second to throw me off of the program. You know, if I threaten anybody, I'm not going to threaten anybody, you know. But I have to. It's not your fault, you know, but I have to protect myself because I know you guys aren't going to, you know. It's nothing personal, but I record every conversation for my protection because I know what you guys are capable of, and I've had a history of this kind of stuff, you know. So can't blame me for it. And you know, if there's a problem with that, let me know. But let me know what we're going to do about rescheduling this program. I got 6 days So I'm going to be living in my pickup truck. So, I don't know what else to say. This is a email that I sent to Annie Roper at the Dayton Metropolitan Housing Authority in Dayton, Ohio, about finding rocks and leaves and even candy wrappers in this dryer duct. This is a brand new remodeled building. It was burnt, and they put a new roof and everything on. So this has a cap on it. There should be no rocks, leaves, or candy wrappers in this ductwork. So this is a fire hazard. I made her aware of yesterday, but my camera was having problems, so I took the date's not right, because my digital camera, you got to set the date and all that stuff, and I have enough problems out of the camera, but its batteries only lasted for a few shots or maybe a 15-minute video. So, anyways, so I got the picture of that back when I did this a week or so ago, service my dryer, because I graduated from Florida State Fire College, and I had a fire equipment business for 12 years, and I know that the number one cause for house fires is dryers. That's the number one. So anyways, so I suggest that they, nobody's checking this stuff. Obviously the landlord and the construction guys aren't looking at this stuff. So anyways, I also, that email talks about these sections on you can't really see it real good there, but you can see how that's already thawed there. This is this morning. Yesterday there was a good coat of snow on there. My camera, my batteries were dead. So anyways, this is right here between these two windows. That's the firewall. This is on the right. That's an apartment. Those are the front doors of the two apartments on each side there, and there's a firewall in between them. And yesterday, when I saw this, I went out there early in the morning, and this part of the little section, it's the firewalls on the roof, was steaming, and within an hour the whole roof was thawed off. And then when I went out in the yard and looked up on my roof, it hadn't even started thawing yet. So I don't need to graduate from fire college to be able to tell you that there's an issue there. So anyways, and there it is on down the way there. This is the next firewall. This is what it looks like between the apartments, the firewall between the apartments where the doorways aren't there, So, and you can see the little spot right there in the center there, right between the shutters where it goes up the roof there. And there's other areas like that look like that, but when it's covered with snow, you can see it defined crazily. So anyways, I was trying to get a shot of the soffit. When you look at the soffit at the firewall outside of each apartment, there's black soot build up on each one of those, each section of that soffit at the firewall. So that tells you that there's a large amount of carbon monoxide coming out of those apartments. I mean, there's carbon monoxide detectors in the apartments, but they're not serviced by anyone. They're installed, and once they're installed, that's it. The batteries go in, and if you contact the landlord, tell them that the batteries went dead, they'll tell you to go buy some batteries. So, you know, there's no telling what's going on over there. But, you know, I'm not doing any of this for selfish reasons. I would hate to see a veteran die because of carbon monoxide poisoning. I couldn't do that. I could not report this. You know, I hope people understand that. It's my duty to, and you know, to the veterans, when I showed everybody how it was unlawful to charge for the incorrect bed bug treatments they were doing here. They were treating one apartment at a time, chasing the cockroaches and the bed bugs from apartment to apartment, and then charging the veterans. They did 2 of them like that. When they got to me, I'm like, and that's what started this war. That's why I'm being evicted, because I refused to let them charge me $500 for bed bugs. I mean, it's a bigger mess than that, but you know, that's what the core of all this is. And all these people at the HUD-VASH, Dayton VA, and the people down at Dayton Metropolitan Housing Authority, they've known about every bit of this for 80 days now, at least. So, you know, I'm about to be homeless and living in my pickup truck in 6 days because of the non-stop parade of clowns and criminals that they have on their referral list that they're doing business with. There's no kinder way to say it than to tell the truth.